I want to do this for me, or to just make this wish come true, and to prove that you don't need anything. You just need love, you need dedication, you need, idea, and you need to stick to it, because giving up is always an option. And we see so many people who gave up, but the ones we celebrate are the ones who didn't give up and who stick to it. So that was always in back of my mind. I was like, even if nobody buys my stuff, even if nobody wears my stuff, even if nobody appreciates, I'm going to be doing it because this is something that I truly love, and this is who I am. I cannot do anything else.
Goran, it's so great to meet you here on Zoom.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's a great pleasure. And I see all your beautiful designs there in the background.
Yes, some of them, yes.
But are you based in Vienna?
Yes, I'm based in Vienna.
Mm. And originally, where are you from?
Originally, I come from Serbia. Mm-hmm. But after I graduated the high school, fashion high school, I moved to Vienna. And it was, oh my God, in October it will be 22 years since I live in Vienna. So
amazing.
I live most of my adult life, I'm living in Vienna now.
And fashion design, was that always something that interested you?
Oh, yes. Funny enough, since I was a small child in Serbia, I don't know, the earliest that I can recall is probably 6 or 7 years old. And I always wanted to do a fashion design. And I played with dolls. I loved Barbies, and my mom was open enough to buy me the dolls. And I guess the love for fashion came from my grandma, because she was also tailoring and sewing, and she did crochets. She was really talented, and I would spend a lot of time with her, and she taught me a lot about sewing. Her first sewing machine was Singer with without electricity.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that was the first machine. I was too small at the beginning, because you had to move your feet and to touch the pedal with your feet. So I was too small, and I was so happy when I grew enough to use the machine.
But yeah. I remember those machines. And but your grandma, was she, would you say, a designer, or did she earn a living from making clothes, or was it just her hobby or something she did for herself?
Well, like in early days, a lot of women just sew and did embroidery and crochet works. And she got divorced actually when my mom was 6 years old. And to earn some extra money, she started sewing and doing the crochet works for her colleagues and neighbors. So she was self-taught, but she was really, really good and talented. So I guess I don't know, I inherited the talent from her.
That's so wonderful. But so wonderful that from a young age you were exposed to that. So you got to know fabrics and what you can do with it. So would you say that also influenced now what you're doing?
Yes, definitely. Yes. I mean, there was so much that I learned from her. And she was so generous with her knowledge, and also so patient, because you know how it is to have a small child. And
Yeah.
And she also had this trust, because she showed me how to use needle at the early age. And she also told me what happens if I stick it to my finger. It can hurt. So I have to be really careful also with scissors. So she was really patient with me. And I will be eternally grateful to her, because she took me on that journey with her and had the trust and the patience. Yes.
And this is very interesting what you're talking about, because it is sometimes like that, that you're busy with something and you have a child and you're so scared that they might hurt themselves with the scissors, or people say don't let them play with buttons because they'll put it in their mouth. Yet, if you teach children the right way, you can avoid these accidents, or you can teach them how to work with these things that is potentially dangerous, but that they can take care of themselves.
Yeah, I think that's also, if you give a trust to a child and if you explain them she was talking to me like an adult, and she would take a tiny needle and stick it slightly in my finger, and she was like, you see, honey, if you do that, it hurts, so you should try to avoid to put the needles in your fingers or to try to pin somebody. So she was, I think, when the children feel that you trust them.
So tell me then, when did you then start your studying? You did normal school and then you went to a design school?
Yes, I started because in Serbia back then, till the age of 14, we all have the same school. So it's like, it doesn't matter where you come from or what city or what. And then with 14, you decide which high school are you going to take. And there are very, very diverse high schools. And for me, it was a tough decision because my hometown is kind of mining copper and gold city. So there's nothing creative there. And for me, it was the decision. I needed to leave home and I needed to go to internet, to, how do you call it in English? Dormitory.
Oh, yeah.
And to go into another city. It was, I don't know, I chose the city in South Serbia, Leskovac, which was kind of 180 kilometers from my hometown. So that was tough because I needed to leave my home at the age of 14. And I was a loved child, and my grandma meant the world to me. And suddenly I had to go somewhere where I didn't know anybody. And to also start to try to, at the age of 14, to meet new people, to meet friends. And it was tough, but my love to fashion was like, I always in my mind was like, oh my God, I miss home. I miss my grandma. I miss cooking. I miss the dishes, but I wanted it, I want fashion, and this is the sacrifice that I need to do now. So yes, from the age of 14 till 19 actually, I was in South Serbia and in a fashion high school, and I was the best student ever.
Really?
Yes. The teachers loved me because I was really talented, and for me, the school was like dream come true. I could finally learn, on the right way, how to do patterns, how to drape, how to also about fabric. There was a lot of knowledge suddenly, and I was so hungry because it was really something that I loved. And this high school time was the best time for me ever.
Really? Well, it's, for one person that sounds like hard work, and for you, you just loved it because it's what you wanted to do.
Yes.
But that's amazing. And did you realize how much your grandma meant to you in the sense that all the things that she taught you? Could you already then see it?
Oh, of course, because we had this, courses where we did sewing and cutting, and I already could do a lot of things. So my teacher was like, why can you cut? Why can you sew? And I'm like, well, my grandma taught me. So she was always present, and she still is. Unfortunately, she died 2015. But she's always going to be present in my work because she was such an amazing, strong woman who, in a way, I think she wasn't even considering. She was a feminist without even knowing it. She would drive a car. She would wear pants. She would have a job. She got divorced. She did so many things that were not typical at the time. And she always stood up for herself and for us and for children and for minorities. She was never in any way racist, or she would never say unkind things towards anyone. So for me, she was kind of my sanctuary, and she taught me a lot, and she gave so much love that I really believed everything is possible. And I think that's, one of the most, she's definitely the most important person in my life.
Well, that thing that you said, that she made you believe that everything is possible, I think that's the greatest gift you can give a child.
Yes. And she always told me, travel the world. She didn't travel. She was never on a seaside. She didn't see so many things. She even couldn't come to Vienna because there was visa back then. So, and this is the only thing that I can say I regret, that she never visited me in Vienna. But even though she didn't travel and she didn't see, she told me always, go wherever you can, go as far as you can see, travel the world, experience it. And it was for me so funny because she only had 8-year education. So it's not like that she was this, I don't know, girl from a good family or had everything. And I guess because she didn't have so many opportunities, because she was a woman, she always told me that I should experience the world and should travel and should be kind. And I think whenever I go somewhere new, first I think of her, and I'm like, oh my God,
that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. Well, she must have been so proud of you, and still is, for what you've achieved.
Yeah, I hope. I just hope. Yeah.
So you said you left Serbia to come to Vienna. Why specifically Vienna?
Oh, well, that was a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to come to Vienna because Vienna was never a fashion city. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go to Milan or Paris. But of course, it was end of the 90s, and we had war in the former Yugoslavia. Then there was crisis with Kosovo. Then we got bombed. So it was really not a good time. And my parents really struggled financially. And of course, everything, Paris and Milan, was so expensive, the schools and the colleges that I wanted to visit, that my mom told me that even if we sell our apartment, we could afford maybe 1 year in Paris. And, the schools were 3 to 5 years. So I was completely devastated. And I told, I'm going to stay with my grandma, and she had like a farm. And I was like, we're going to work on a farm. I don't care. And my mom was like, but you were so good and you are so talented. We have to do something. And then a friend of mine was studying in Vienna, and her sister is the same age as me. And she was like, my sister's coming to Vienna. Don't you want to come with her? And we will, try to figure out something. And I was like, why? I don't know. I don't speak German. I don't like, why Vienna? It's not fashionable. It's not, there's nothing. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things in Vienna still, but for me as a fashion person driven, there was nothing appealing to Vienna. But then I decided, before I stay in Serbia, let's do this. So I ended up in Vienna and hated it the first 5 to 7 years.
Really?
Yes. But funny enough, I think Vienna chose me. It's such a funny coincidence, because I really didn't want to stay. Every time I was like, oh my God, I want to go live somewhere else. And now Vienna is it's my center. It's my home. And I love Vienna. I adore
Really?
Vienna. Yeah.
Mm. So you settled in, and like you say, Vienna chose you. And you've got, was it difficult to start a business as a fashion designer in Vienna?
Oh, yes. I mean, generally it was difficult because I had to learn the language, and the Austrians are not the most welcoming people. So, and especially I was Serbian, even though I was a child during the wars and the conflicts in Yugoslavia, we were the bad guys, of course, and I had to deal with that. I had to, apologize almost that I'm Serbian, which I didn't do because I was like, it's not, that's who I am. Sorry. But it was difficult also, that kind of way, because, you had to kind of justify your being. And so that was happening. Then I needed to, since I didn't know German, there was no possibility to work or to have like a job in fashion. So I had to do, I washed dishes in a restaurant. I did so many jobs that the students and people do when they come to a foreign country. And yeah, it was a tough start. And that's why I also felt even more not, well, it was completely strange, and I was foreigner and I felt it and I didn't like it. But at some point when I started learning German, I thought, this is what I chose and this is tough, but this is what I have to do. And to do something better and to improve myself, I also have to go through periods that are not so nice, or, if you have a goal, you have to stick to it. So yeah, that's what kind of held me, and that's why I stick to Vienna. Yeah.
And like you say, the fashion industry, it's not an easy industry to be in, because you have to not only be creative, but you also have to have that business side of it, to be a sort of a businessman.
Yeah, and I'm a very bad businessman. I'm really creative, and I could make so many things. I could sew for days, but the business part I'm figuring still out. But I'm really proud because I didn't have, the best school. I didn't have the rich parents. I didn't have influential friends. I started really just with this wish and this idea, and I did make it. I started my business with, I don't know, with no money, with no, with no, almost no support. And it was all like, I have this idea and I know I have to do it and I will do it, and it's going to be hard. And now after 12 years of being a designer and having my own brand, I'm really proud of it, because I still, there's still not, now it's coming, now I have clients which I really love. Now I have some people who are maybe, I don't know, not famous, but, artists and people that I like, people who represent something and they wear my fashion, and that makes me just so proud, because I come from, nothing. There was not a structure there which would support me. It was just my idea and my crazy, I don't know, stubbornness, I guess, which is kind of Serbian thing.
But this is so inspiring, because I mean, already for somebody who grew up in Austria, they have that sort of network, or they have support, or they have their parent support, or family support, or friend support. But you came from a total different country, and you say with a bit of issues, around that as well, and also not the very easy industry to be in, and still you established. So really, your grandma was right to teach you that anything is possible. So nobody can have excuses, after listening to you and seeing what you achieved.
Yes, because I think there's also, I think to some part, there's this fantasy world that people think, oh, fashion, it's just beautiful, it's just creative, it's just so easy. But it's a hard work. And for me, always, whenever it was tough, whenever it was difficult, for me, there was this idea, anybody can give up. But how many people stick to that, what they really believe in and what they love? And since my grandma taught me so much about love, I thought this is something that I truly love. And that's where the bad businessman comes. I just do the things that I love. And it's like, I do this for me, for the small 6-year-old Goran in Serbia to just, fulfill my dreams. That's why I went to New York to a fashion week, to Paris, because I thought I want to do this for me, or to just make this wish come true and to prove that you don't need anything. You just need love. You need dedication. You need, idea, and you need to stick to it, because giving up is always an option. And we see so many people who gave up, but the ones we celebrate are the ones who didn't give up and who stick to it. So that was always in back of my mind. I was like, even if nobody buys my stuff, even if nobody wears my stuff, even if nobody appreciates, I'm going to be doing it because this is something that I truly love and this is who I am. I cannot do anything else.
I love that approach. And I love that you said this here, because I think so many people will be inspired by that.
Yeah, I think that's also the aspect that's really so appealing to me, is to inspire people, because we are so shortly on this planet, and it can end tomorrow. And I think if you reach out and show people empathy and love, and if you inspire one person, that's the best thing you can do it with your lifetime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But now, Goran, tell me, what are the wishes still for you for the future? You've achieved so much. You've achieved so much already, but what, you still have wishes?
Of course. I mean, there's so many amazing people that I would love to work with. There's so many places I would love to go to. I don't know, even if it's not business-wise, I would love to go to Japan. I didn't travel through almost, I never was actually in Asia. So for me, there's like so much to discover and to get inspired. And business-wise, I don't know. Like I said, so many artists I would love to collaborate, and also places to visit. And yeah, there are always wishes. I think when you do something that you love, you would love to see your work represented, and I'm working on it. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, I hope you put South Africa on your wish list as well, for places to visit.
Yes, and maybe there's a glimpse of hope that South Africa will actually also happen.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
that's amazing. Oh, you have to tell me, because I'm from South Africa.
I cannot spoil, because nothing is still,
okay. But,
it's
but
just there is some sparkle that maybe something would happen. So that would be great.
That's amazing. That would make me very happy if that all happens. But you can tell me when it happens.
Of course, I will let you know, and I would be glad to meet you personally.
Yes, that would be amazing. But now tell me, where can I find you in Vienna? Do you have a shop, or do you have a studio?
I have a studio, and it's the most beautiful open space. It's like a co-working space called SchnittBogen. And it was founded by women. I love women. All my work is dedicated to women. I was raised by women, and now I'm, my space
working with women.
Working, yes. And now my space is in a space which is founded by a woman. And Michaela Hudetsova-Königshofer is the woman who founds SchnittBogen, and it's open space for creative people, for designers, for anybody who works in fashion. And I am sharing the space with 4 different designers. We're 5 in total. And it's a beautiful creative space, and it's my second home. It's just so amazing. We have so much creativity here. We have so many different machines. We have also a small shop in atelier. So it's just the best ever decision was to be a part of SchnittBogen and to be settled here, where I can work and sell and also where people can come and see me and order stuff.
But amazing that it's so open, and that it's, that people will be able to talk to you and meet you and see what you're doing. So I find that very wonderful that you do that.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because when you work with other creatives, my colleagues, who are also designers, and everybody has their what they're the most interested in, but we learn so much from each other, we inspire each other, and we collaborate. The last fashion show we did, we mixed and matched our stuff together, so there was like outfits with my stuff and my colleague Barbara and Clara and Linda, Marcus, so we did this mix and match because I think this magic can happen when creative people work together, and I just love it. It's just, yeah.
That's so amazing that you're saying that, because usually you would think designers would be in competition with each other.
Usually, but I think everybody just figured out that when we work together, we're stronger. When we work together, we learn more from each other. When we work together, we reach more people. So I think this is really, I'm really proud to be a part of SchnittBogen, and I'm really proud to have so amazing colleagues and co-workers who really push me forward and who I learned so much from, and also taught so much. It's just, giving and receiving. It's just beautiful, yeah.
And but Goran, this is so evident that your grandma has taught you so much love, that you're so open to work with people and collaborate with people. So that's wonderful.
Yes, well, I guess this is this sense of togetherness which was planted into me, and I love working with people. I also like talking, I like communicating. So for me, it was always very clear that I will be a part of some community, and this co-working space is just the perfect match.
Amazing. Well, I'm coming to visit you.
Oh, I would love that. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you. It looks amazing where you are, and it sounds amazing, and I would love to meet you in person.
This will happen eventually, I guess.
Yeah. But Goran, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing this very beautiful and inspirational story with me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for giving me opportunity to share this with you and your followers.
It's a great pleasure.